Hey everyone, this is Adam.
And this is Rod from Tier 5. Whether you're talking about your favorite awful card or just discussing your ladder experience, Tier 5 is something for you. You're about to listen to Concede, the top of Tier 1 Hearthstone podcasts.
Greetings.
Hello.
Greet.
My greetings.
Well met.
I greet you.
Greetings, traveler.
Greetings, friend.
The pleasure is mine.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 104 of Concede, the Hearthstone podcast dedicated to making the competitive side of the game more accessible to you. My name is Kenny, and I go by KCCO Gamer, and all the way from Thunder Bluff, Louisiana, we have Cinder.
Except no substitutes.
And all the way from Gadget Zan, New York, we have a Ridiculous Hat.
I'd prefer if you didn't accept substitutes, but if you really want to.
And our substitute from Karazhan, California, it's Bodicus.
I don't have a clever intro.
So welcome.
I will take that robot speak as a clever intro.
All right, so let's go ahead and get to it. So Concede is supported in a large part by you, the listener. So if you'd like to find out how you can support us and receive rewards in return, head over to patreon.com/CoinConcede. I'm going to start off by mentioning this now because it's going to be mentioned later. But we have a super secret surprise giveaway still later. Yes, because it's still a secret. And I forgot to mention what it was last episode. So if you want to know what it is, keep listening. We'll announce the details later. But yeah, I wanted to give this a better turnout because it was kind of on a whim last time. It didn't work out so well. So we want to extend the raffle. So keep on listening. All right, so let's talk about our ladder. I'm going to start with Bodicus here. Bodicus, what have you been up to?
So this month went actually pretty good towards the beginning. I made my fastest legend climb ever. I hit legend on the 13th of the month, which was pretty sweet. And yeah, so I hit it early, and then I did my first ever stream where I played some more of the Tempo Rogue that I hit Legend with and actually ground up to the top 200 of Legend. And that was pretty sweet. And kind of since then, I've been taking it easy. I don't really have any plans to try to finish high this month. I had a 12-win arena run, which was the first time I've done that in a while. And yeah, I'm looking forward to making a big push next month, or fast push early next month.
Nice. It's always to be on top and early. That's the way to do it. Because then if you wait, sometimes you get stuck with the ladder where you don't know what you're playing against and you just can't get out of that hole. Well, yeah, maybe for me, not for you.
I hit the meta like at a pretty great time when nobody really knew how to play against Tempo Rogue. So the timing worked out pretty well for me.
All right. What about you, Hat?
So I hit Legend on the 26th of the month, a.k.a. 2 Bodicuses. Because you just take the speed that he went and then, like, cut that in half, and that's how fast I hit Legend. It's, so I was playing, I tried all sorts of things, but Priest is my last non-golden class, I bring up every single podcast, and I finally learned how to play Rozaka's Priest. And then I went to Phenom's, Phenom posted a list, Phenom23 on Twitter. He's the data architect for Vicious Syndicate's Data Reaper report, and a pro player and good at Hearthstone. And he said Curious Glimmerroot is bad, Mind Blast is good, and Circle Akanai is better than you think it is. And he was right about all those. Circle Akanai has been really good in this meta. It also plays Wild Pyro and Northshire and Acolyte, and the amount of cycle in the deck is really crazy. So I switched to that deck at rank 3 1-star right after last week's podcast, and I had a 71% win rate from rank 3 to legend, which is pretty crazy. So I really feel like
Wow.
the deck is well situated, and Velen and Mind Blast is so important, along with a bunch of low cast spells. You kill a lot of people from 30 or from like 25, 26. So that did well for me. And then I've just been dirtling around low legend and learning the new decks in the meta.
Turtle.
Dirt? Would you say you were dirtening around?
I mean, I would say it now, but not because of what I was doing, just because Follow Durden is here and he's a great person.
Ha.
All right, and Cinder, what about you?
I got easy rank 5 and then easy rank 4 on the back of Zulok. I have wisely discovered that Keleseth is in fact good. Perhaps not as good as a Shadow Step Keleseth, but it's still pretty good. Actually, I think Zoo is just good generally. Like, I don't think Keleseth is really part of that equation. Like, there's plenty of games where Keleseth
That's
never
true.
even sees the board, but
Yeah.
the deck is just ticking right now. So, rank 4 now. I'll probably gain another rank or two before the season's over, but really my focus is still on getting Golden Warlock. I'm at 420 something, so more Warlock, and then I have to deal with Rogue. Rogue is still in the 200s.
Oh, Cinder, you're in good company. We will
Right, yeah.
we will guide you. We will be your
I'm in
rogue
the-
Sherpas.
I'm in the
I
right
got-
place.
I got you, Cinder.
Yeah, just do Bodicus and not me, because Bodicus was the one coaching me on Rogue. And then I used that to coach the people that paid for coaching, so don't tell anybody.
I think after this episode, a lot of people are going to pick up on Rogue. That's a little hint, a little tease there.
Yeah.
So for me, I got to rank 6. That's where I'm at right now in Wild. Been playing what I've been wanting to play, and then I was like, okay, let's just do this. And I started playing a bunch of Dude Paladin. I coached Rayganis Prime. I guess I'll just jump over to that. So he's the one that actually got me towards playing a little bit more serious in Wild. I haven't been playing much, but I'm going to try and take an early step next month to hopefully be on top and get to Legend. So that'll be my push will be early next month and my goal. So I got to know him a little bit, and I didn't know this, or I don't even know if you guys know about this, but our very own producer was his highest was rank 12 on standard ladder. And
Wait, like rank 12 legend?
rank 12 legend.
Whoa.
And
Why are
then-
we coaching him?
Yeah, this was when Shaman was like he hit legend the first time with Secret Paladin, and then when Shaman was having a big go in I think February of last year, sometime like that. But he went right up there with I think it was aggro Shaman, and he got up there to rank 12. He's like, okay, it's like in a day or two before the end of the month. I think I'll just sit here. So he ended up just sitting there, and he ended up at 25th at the end of the month, and he ended up getting enough points for HCT or something, but he didn't know if he could go, so he was debating. So his name's on the list somewhere for that.
That was March 2016. He was between Diggin and Bloody Face.
There you go.
25.
Oh my! What?
Good lord.
Right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know about that, and yeah, he's picked up to the community, and that's why he loves it. He really hasn't had a chance to talk Hearthstone with anybody because nobody in real life really knows it, and he doesn't. His first time he really got to talk was when he went to a fireside gathering in Kansas City. But yeah, he loves it. It was good to get to know him, and really cool dude. Yeah, he's got me moving. I want to try and get good rank in Wild next month. So he's currently in rank 45 in Wild right now, just sitting right now, a couple days till the end of the month. We'll see if he wants to push. I don't know if he'll want to, but he's been pretty busy lately. So I also coached Omnitrio. I'm sorry, and he too is like me in a sense, more different than I thought it would be. Rayganis Prime is a father and doesn't have much time, but he puts in his time. Omnitrio, I found out, has the same exact birthday as me. Like, you can have the same birthday, but maybe he has the same exact birth date I should say. We were born on the same exact day, same year, everything. I was just blown away at that to just have it randomly come up while we were talking. So shout out to him. And yeah, we just had fun coaching. Yeah, I don't want to go on it too long here. But
then don't.
Hat.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, it's this week. We've been catching up on the last coaching's the end of the month, and I mean, I've been teaching people so much of the rogue, and some of that is the tempo rogue. Some of that is miracle. I actually played some yesterday with Nostromo. I played one of my favorite builds, which is actually good again. It's double sap, double cold blood Leroy miracle rogue, which is one of my favorite builds because it feels like a combo deck when you play against it, but when you play with it, you're actually just trying to kill them as fast as possible, and you're really good at it. So just like, yeah, why don't we just make a 11-7 questing here on turn 3 against Warlock? It's like, what? It's like, yeah, no, we're just gonna make a really big questing, and then we're gonna hit him with it. And then he was dead 2 turns later. It's like, oh, that was a lot easier than the gadget turn. It's like, yeah, we're just gonna kill him. So I've been feeling really good about the amount of rogue that is represented right now. Tempo rogue has been amazing, and I played a bunch of that with Starlax a few days ago, but Miracle is my first love.
Auctioneer and Leroy in the same deck is like a dream come true. You need to send me that list.
I will send it to you for sure. It doesn't have Conceal, so don't get too excited.
And also, Leroy costs 1 more mana, and Auctioneer costs 1 more mana.
All right.
But I'm still in.
I'm not going to say that I don't know where you're going with that. I'm saying even I can't let my soul turn that dark.
It was a dark place that we left, and we don't need to go back and retread.
Can't we go back for like
those
1 day?
things.
Can't it be a tavern brawl?
Maybe that should be a tavern brawl, like pre-nerf cards.
Yeah.
All the broken stuff comes back out.
Like they can play Buzzard Unleash, or they can play Warsong, and you know what? I'm even okay with old Warsong where you killed with Molten Giants. For those of you that don't know, Warsong Commander 2 nerfs ago, the original card was 3 mana 2/3. Your minions have charge. Period. So that deck would Warsong Commander, Molten Giant you, hit you for 8, Panda, which is Youthful Brewmaster, bounce the Molten Giant back to your hand, hit you for 3 with the Panda, play the Molten Giant again, hit you again, play the other Molten Giant, hit you for 8, bounce it again, hit you with the Panda, hit you with the other Molten Giant. By the way, you just took 38, you're dead. So, I'm okay with that if I get to play 4 mana Leroy, 5 mana Gadget. Kenny's
muted.
You can't hear me laugh.
Haha.
Haha.
It's a dumb laugh, so you didn't want to hear it anyway. Well, okay, so Bonicus.
Yeah, so I just wanted to just say that this first month has been amazing. What a big surprise that, the patrons of this show are actually just all great people. And I just had a lot of fun, a lot of amazing experiences, and I can't wait for the next month. It's gonna be great. I'm really glad you guys brought me on to help out with the coachings.
It's awesome that you joined us. I mean, we lucked out, definitely. So happy to have you. And we've been getting feedback that a lot of people like having you here too. So that's good.
It's
all right,
true.
so a couple new.
I bribed them.
I did have coachings, even though I didn't write anything down, Kenny. Before you jumped the gun.
Well, I figured. Yeah, I didn't. I was like, should I mention it? Should I not? All right,
yeah, no.
What about you?
Hey, man, I had to take a nap before the show, so I may have missed a couple things. I scooped up a few coachings. Let's see. I Beat You. I did Nicolius, and I did Jasper, who was in the chat room. And my favorite thing to hear after a coaching is, I just hit my goal. I heard it a bunch. I love it. Keep it up, everybody.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I forgot one. Can I go back?
Yeah.
So Hope, I
Picture.
coached him on Tempo Rogue, and he messaged me today that he hit his personal best of rank 4, where last month his personal best was rank 7. So shout out
Yes,
to Hope.
indeed.
Nice job with Tempo Rogue. You the real MVP. That's
MVP.
it. I'm done.
MVP. Shall we talk about some of the new pledges that joined us? We have Rich M and David M. So yeah, thanks for joining us and showing your support for the show.
We'll see y'all real soon.
real soon. It's almost there.
Yeah.
All right. Let's hit the news. All right, it's beta season. Everyone's in beta for something. We have Hearthstone Replay started a beta, and Vicious Syndicate started a beta. Cinder, I guess you're more on the Vicious Syndicate. I'm a patron for the Hearthstone Replay, so they actually came out with archetypes and live, like a live view of what's going on. So they only have that for patrons. Or I think if you join their Discord too, I think they just recently opened it up to their Discord. But yeah, you want to kind of talk a little bit about Vicious Syndicate?
Yeah, I could talk about both. I will take the Vicious Syndicate side. So Vicious Syndicate has had sort of a live data report of sorts, but basically almost since the beginning. That basically there was a Reddit user many moons ago who was doing his own independent data collection, and he had a live accessible public sheet that people were using, and he and Vicious Syndicate joined forces, so they have a much better data collection system after the fact. But that live sheet that he had has never really gotten past that point. They worked with it a little bit, but they really wanted it to be more robust and more functional. So just this week, coincidentally, probably around the same time HS Replay made their live beta, Vicious Syndicate rolled out a new. It's the live data, but it's a customizable interface, so you can change all kinds of variables and get all kind of like on the spot, at your fingertips reporting for the ladder data, and it's really cool. But as I'm sure you're about to talk about, HS Replay has done much the same thing with their beta stuff.
Yeah. I actually got to kind of check it out for a little bit here. I haven't had much time to kind of play around with it, but it's beautiful. Looks nice.
Yeah.
It's not as detailed, but it gives you an idea. It's like a quick scan to see what it looks like at that point.
They both of these sites actually have quite a few switches and levers and knobs you can play with.
Yeah.
To kind of get a custom idea of what you might face. And HS Replays actually they allow you to mess with the weighting of the decks in the meta. So if you want to maybe make a tournament matrix instead of a ladder matrix, you can just flatten out all of the weighting for the matchup percentages, and then like filter out the decks you don't want to look at, and actually make your own like on the fly matchup matrix. It's actually really cool. Like both sites have done quite a job of taking data reporting to the next level. And
go ahead. I think you were going to say it.
I think really there is true competition now. Now they are really trying to do the best live data reporting in the market, and that's a good thing. I support both. I'm glad to have them both in the ecosystem. So this is really cool.
Yeah, I'm a fan of both. I haven't done Vicious Syndicate. I probably should, but I just haven't, obviously because of the move and money-wise. But I was already using Hearthstone Replay, and I was like, well, let's try it out. I like it. I would support both if I could. They're both really great. And, yeah, I mean, it's really good to have competition, too. I mean, they're going to push each other to do better than the other, Maybe some people are like the aesthetic part of one better than the other. Some people may like the data or the actual kind of thought process behind where the meta is at, and kind of it's up to you on what you would like. Try out both and see what you like. You could be Cinder and use both. You could use just one, but check it out. I'm really excited to see what else is coming down the pipeline for both of them. I'm missing Tempo Storm though. Where'd that go?
They had.
So first of all, Cinder, I actually want to tell you. So I'm the Warlock expert for the Vicious Syndicate Data Report, and they actually told me they were trying to work on the weighting feature as well, like HS Replay has, but they couldn't get to it because they said the weighting is the hardest part. So I am the Warlock Data Reaper expert, but I made the other part up because of the joke. I want all of you to know.
I had to fill it in with a laugh because I know Cinder was just deeply laughing inside.
Yeah.
So
The audio listeners will not see the mug that I just gave Pat. Go pull that up later.
Tonight's so good already. But yeah, so here's the thing about Tempo Storm. Tempo Storm was the meta report before the age of the data revolution, right? Because the data revolution was all about getting these mass quantities of games, 100,000 games, and analyzing them. But what Tempo Storm did is it got a bunch of experts who were people that were really good at ladder, and it got them all into a Skype call, and they talked about every matchup, and they said, well, how often do you think this deck beats that deck? And they said, well, I think it's about 60%. Well, I think it's about 40%. And they would put that number in a graph that looked really official, and they would publish it. Now, before there was any other meta report, this was well documented, well sourced, well used, and it did the same thing that Vicious Syndicate does now, which is it actually defines the meta by reporting on it, right? By reporting on the meta, by measuring it, they change it. Heidegger would be proud. So Vicious Syndicate does that now as well, and HS Replay has really risen in a major kind of way as representing another source of kind of raw data that is able to be filtered with their premium features in a really effective way. So with two major players in the space, Tempo Storm as a kind of an anecdotal, empirical report doesn't have as much of a place anymore. And Tempo Storm is kind of distancing itself from creating consistent Hearthstone content the same way they used to.
might be a smart thing to do. Why put forth the effort if it's not adding anything?
Well, I mean, and they still have Value Town, which I think is in line with what they do, and there's a fair amount of Tempo Storm created verbal content and stream content. But in terms of written Hearthstone content, there just isn't that much, and their last Tempo Storm meta report was just a meme. It just had Druid as S tier and listed 5 different Druid decks, just as kind of a protest as how good Druid was.
All right. So yeah, I'm really this is my favorite part of the news section. Sorry we blew it all off at the beginning here, but I'm actually really excited about the other part that I'm going to mention. I downloaded it today here, but we have the Battle.net app you can download for your smartphones. I added the links here for iOS and Android. Have you guys had a chance to download this? This is pretty sweet. I like this feature. Did you see they added a way to add your friends or add people to your friends list? Like if you're in person, say at a fireside gathering, you can actually just scan a code. You don't even have to type in the battle tag or anything.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. This app
I
is
did
amazing.
download it, but didn't really do anything with it yet.
Yeah, you can scan a code or display a code. I guess they have the two options depending on who's doing what, but pretty neat. I like the feature, and I like being connected a little bit easier, especially those that are on my friends list. Although I hope they're going to add more because I'm going to run out quick if this is catching on. Run out of space.
Yeah. I don't know about other people's behavior, but I leave Hearthstone just logged in my desktop computer at home, and getting home and finding a bunch of messages is cool, but I wish I would have been able to talk to people in the moment. So I just really like that I'm able to connect with people if I leave the client open and they just message me. It's like I can respond back like any other messaging client. If I have people on the Hearthstone app they don't have anywhere else, it's kind of nice to have that ability.
Exactly. Brodicus, you've been quiet. You want to mention anything? Have you had a chance to check it out?
I haven't even. I actually just found out about it today. I haven't had a chance to download it yet. But it sounds useful. Sounds like something I'll definitely make use of.
I want to say they just announced it yesterday. Was it? Today?
They released it yesterday and they announced it at the same time. It was in the U.S. yesterday and today. I think it was worldwide.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something else here. I didn't put it in the show notes. BlizzCon actually has like these. They're ramping up pretty good. I like what they're gonna add. So not gonna mention that, but I did want to mention China accounts get free packs. So if you're a China account, I don't know. I didn't check this out. I'm curious if you have to be in that region, not just have an account. I think you have to be in that region. But what it is you actually go in, you log in, you play a game against someone, and you win a free card pack for the Frozen Throne. Frozen Throne. I can't even speak today. And this is through October 1st to the 8th. So I guess it's like another type of an event. What do you guys think of this? Do you feel like it's weird that it's just that region, or do you think this will open up to different regions for other things?
I really don't know what the point was. Like if they're
Right.
they're just trying to get people to log in or whatnot. I don't know. But I mean, free is free and free is good. So if you have an account in China, which almost no one hearing us does, go get your packs.
I think it had to do with like compensation with Dust for something. I didn't get too far into it because, again, at Reddit, I don't like being on Reddit and reading all the other comments. I was trying to dig deep into it, but interesting. So I just wanted to announce that just in case you are in that area. We do have people all around the world, so people from Malaysia and like everywhere. It's weird to see who's listening. And we have another. I don't know. I'm not going to go over that. All right. So, yeah, if you're in that area, good for you. If not, sorry.
Steven Sensei in the chat says it has something to do with tie-in with a holiday.
That's what
cool.
I was just saying. There's like some kind of holiday event or something.
Neat.
Almost like what was the pirate event that we have? That I think they're just trying to do more for Hearthstone as far as a client. I don't think it's... I think they're just trying to do additional things to kind of spice it up.
It
I like
is a
it.
celebration of National Day, which is the anniversary of the People's Republic of China, which is probably equivalent to our 4th of July here in America.
Nice.
So
I see.
it's So and this is NetEase is the company that runs Hearthstone in China, and so they probably have a little bit of a different way of administering, but I am not one to say Blizzard shouldn't give out free packs. I think it is great that people get this thing. So if you are on the Chinese server, make sure you log in October 1st through the 8th and get your free pack. I will be jealous, but enjoy, and I hope you open the Legendary.
Yeah, they have the Midsummer Fire Festival, Frost Festival. I like that they're adding other things to the monotony of ladder and other things. So I like it. It's good. Botticus?
Yeah, free stuff is great. I mean, I'm glad that they keep doing all these events. I think all these events that they're doing, including like this what is the October Brawl thing,
Yeah.
are all really really cool things. I like seeing all of the different ways they're trying to get people more involved in the game, get more people to start playing. And so if that's what this does, then that's always great.
Yeah, it's something else to add. Like people eventually fall off and they'll start to make their time for other games. I almost think of it as like WoW, where you go in and they have another event, so you're like, okay, I'll go back into WoW and do this, or it's a way to keep them or us involved. So it's nice. I like it. Free packs. All right, Cinder. Let's hear a little bit more about China.
It's the grand tournament!
So there were no major tournaments last weekend, but I did want to cover a few bits and pieces here. News from the tournament world. With the Summer Championships coming up in 2 weeks, there's a very important roster change happening for the Chinese team. Because of visa issues, he was unable to secure a visa. Gia from One More, he will not be able to attend the Summer Championships. So replacing him is the 5th place contestant from the Summer Gold Series. That's Team Royals Bai Zhe. She was just behind him in the points in that tournament, so she was the next person in line to make the championship round. And I got to say, this that is a huge accomplishment because the scale of Gold Series is just massive. We're used to our playoffs being, in the dozens, and maybe, DreamHack might have hundreds. Like Gold Series, the lower brackets, all the qualifying rounds and stuff, there are thousands of players in the Chinese competitive ecosystem. And for anyone to finish high is amazing, especially because you have such consistent players like Omega Zero, like Jason Zhou, like Trunks, the other three contestants for going to the championships for China. So for Baize to get fifth, a huge accomplishment, and she will be making it to the championship round. But this is really important because she will now be the first woman to enter a championship round for the Hearthstone Championship Tour. We had the last person who got close was Kara Cute from the Philippines. We saw her during the Global Games as well. Very talented player from the APAC region, but she didn't make it. She was ninth because of tiebreakers. So Baize going to be the momentous first woman to make it to the championship round. And if her name sounds familiar, you have probably seen her before. She was also top 8 in the Wild Championship that happened just a couple of months ago. She was knocked out by the eventual finalists, Control from Fate to Karma, the noted Wild specialist. So she has quite a competitive pedigree already. She is a very methodical, logical player. She likes to just take the best decks in the meta and play them to absolute mastery and just play tight technical games and advance that way. So I'm really excited to see her bring that kind of very direct, determined approach to the championship round. This is really exciting stuff for me personally. So I'm looking forward to this momentous occasion in Hearthstone history. What do you guys think? I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
I'm really excited to see another woman, or not another one, but a woman in general. That's really exciting. It's fresh, it's new. I'm excited for her. Nervous too, but man, good for her. I'm excited for her. Unfortunate for Gia, but hey, she's just as good. I mean, to get that high, like you were mentioning, you still have to be a good player. So it's not like she's like much worse than Gia. She's right there, contender.
Exactly.
Yeah, and didn't you link a video to us that went into kind of her progression through that event? Was it that event, or was it?
It was kind of it was from the Gold Series summer. It was kind of like just kind of like a short documentary on the top players from that. It was filmed before the championship or the playoff rounds was completed. So they did feature a bunch of prominent players. Like we also saw the other three competitors, the other three finalists. We saw Hamster, who's a regular face in the top competition over there. So they spent a little bit of time with each of those players. But yeah, she was already being noted as a top contender to make it through, and turns out just one seat off, and because of that visa issue, she's going to be in the championships.
Yeah, that's really exciting. I look forward to seeing how she does.
Yeah,
So,
maybe Hat.
maybe Hat. Visa issues bad. More diversity in Hearthstone good. I eagerly await the day when a woman playing a professional tournament is not news. Really looking forward to that.
Word.
In the meantime, I will be excited about this because it is unusual. I am disappointed it is unusual. And I also wish that visa issues were not denying people from playing in competitive events, because this is a sport like any other. It's just because you play with your mind instead of your legs. I don't think there's any reason that it should be keeping people out of countries that they need to go to compete for their livelihood. But I understand we're not there yet on both fronts. So.
Yeah, in fact, I should mention that I might even take an opportunity here to take a mild shot at Blizzard. Like, maybe this already exists, but if it doesn't, Blizzard should probably have someone whose job it is to just make sure that players get visas. Because Gia is not the first player to be denied a visa to the United States to play at HCT. Stas like one of the highest point earners in the APAC region. He's from Singapore. He has been denied, I think, twice a visa to get into the United States. So if it's something that can be addressed by Blizzard, I would like to see Blizzard step up and help out with that.
Is it something where they apply and they just get denied? I
mean, every case is different. In fact, Gia went on social media and kind of explained what happened. Basically, the visa official whom he was dealing with tried to find the HCT tournament online to verify that's why he was traveling to the United States, and they couldn't find it online. Like, that seems odd to me. Like, what? Because that's why I'm wondering if there's nobody at Blizzard just on a phone line being able to call officials and say, oh no, yes, he's definitely coming to the United States to play in our tournament. Here's our information, etc. So, you know, if Blizzard could do something about it, please do. I hate to see this happen to anybody.
That's true. Or even because I was wondering if it just wasn't done in time. Like, if it's something like that, then at least kind of make it a part of the tournament, like prep. Yeah. Like, hey, if you place well, like this is going to happen. Make sure you're on top of this before, and not just like last minute. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think that was the case, but
even from countries that are more friendly to the United States, like even now Gaiden was, he's from Argentina. Like, that's not that far down south. He got his visa at like almost the last minute. Like, why does it take so? I mean, I guess each country has its own bureaucratic problems, but yeah, I hope this becomes less of a problem. And the thing I'm looking forward to most is just having Baiza be an example of what Had said. There's no reason women can't compete. You know, it's a mind game, and you know, all minds are equal. So I hope this encourages more women to
exactly.
participate.
It's good to see that there's a face there that women could be like, hey, I could be there. I could do that.
And I think people are going to be really floored by just how flawlessly she plays her matches. It's going to be something else. So in elsewhere in the Hearthstone world, just this week we had the start of the Hearthstone Collegiate Series. Cora was casting this, so please go check out the VODs if you can. Cora, in fact, pulled in our friend Ray C. It was his first time casting, and he did a great job. And the Collegiate Series, we may remember from last year. This is where Noblord, who was playing for Rutgers, managed to win the series in a final match for Rutgers. So that this has brought out some really great competitive players to the forefront. So I'm really excited to see this starting up again. And just to refresh people on the format, it's 3-player teams that represent a college. And most of the colleges have a number of teams. Like, some of these colleges are so big, they have like 20 teams. Like, there's a lot of teams in this. But they play best of 5 conquest games. And it's going to be, there's 4 regional 7-round Swiss groups. And anybody with 5 or better wins will advance to a second Swiss stage. And then after that, there's a top 8 from each regional group that play a single elimination bracket. And then finally, each regional champion will go to the live national championships, which I think are in December. So this is a very long series, but I did kind of want to touch on it because it just started, and they're going to be streaming it on the regular basis, and Cora's going to be a part of that, so definitely check it out. But I also kind of just wanted to highlight some of the creativity that happens in this event, because these are young players. You know, they're definitely there to have fun. Like, the atmosphere of all the teams were just super positive. Even in like the worst losses, people were laughing and having a great time with some of the ridiculous plays that were happening. But University of California had their team that was on stream on Monday. They had the most creative decks. They had a Rizakis deck that had a Curator, Primordial Drake, Cold Light Oracle, Snow Flipper package, Snow Flipper Penguin, which is like amazing, right? Then they queued in their Druid. It had no minions except for Barnes and Yashiraj. That was it. There's the only minions in the deck. Everything else was a token generator. So like they had Moonglade Portal, right? So like just these really great creative decks that come out of these young minds. And because there are so many collegiate players participating in this, I think we're going to see a lot more of this kind of stuff. So I would definitely encourage people to watch the Collegiate Series, because I think there's going to be just great fun, great play, and maybe some new ideas, and maybe some of the next great players are going to come out of this series.
Yeah, I saw something really interesting in the last match yesterday. they were playing an evolved shaman with a volcano in it. And they interviewed him afterwards. They said the volcano was for it was tech against Bittertide Hydra to deal a bunch of extra damage. But actually in the game, they ended up playing the mirror match, and the volcano came in super clutched because their opponents weren't expecting it. They, went all in on board, and the volcano completely flipped the game around and was able to win them that game and actually complete a reverse sweep. So I really, I've been kind of watching this in the background, this tournament series, and Cora was doing a great job, and I really enjoyed watching Ray C because he was doing a good job, but also you could tell that he was new to it. So some of the things that he would say on stream were pretty funny, just not even knowing that he was going to say that.
Yeah, good stuff. And and it's the nerves were a little obvious at first, but once he got into the groove of just watching Hearthstone and talking about it, like he got way more smooth and was goofing around with Cora. Like they're old friends. So it was fun to watch. So yeah, check that out. And here, the last little thing about that, while you're watching, they are giving away opportunities to earn the Tespa card back. That's the hottest card back in Hearthstone. Everybody wants it. And the way they were doing it this week is if you tweeted them a question during the show, and they read it on the air, you would get the Tespa card back. So it's probably a pretty good chance that you could, get that done at least once. So listen for opportunities to win that card back. It's going to be good stuff. And finally, the women's league that our friend Toasts, not Disguised Toast, but Toast the Badger, the Canadian Hearthstone journalist, she has put up links for signups. So go check that out if you haven't yet. The links are in the show notes. I know she has some details to sort out. I think they needed to move the dates back a little bit, but just get your name on the list so that you're in the tournament and the interest is shown, because that's the thing. We want people to know that there is a need and a want and a desire for women's tournaments, at least at the moment. So if you're interested in competing, go sign up and make sure that we get some momentum behind this effort, because as we've been saying, women's representation is very important right now, because it's still sad to say it is still a man's game, and it shouldn't be. So let's do what we can to turn the tables on that.
I just threw the links there in Twitch there. So
Perfect.
Great. Anything upcoming you want to talk about, or did we want to?
Yeah, just a few to mention. So Trinity Series, that's an invitational team tournament that happens every once in a while. That is back. It's on the ESL Hearthstone channel. 8 of the most recognizable professional teams send in 3 of their best to play best of 11 last hero standing with a very interesting ban system. Basically, your opponent bans 2, and then you self-ban 1, and then they play out the series. So those have been going on. Actually, I think they just started today. So check that out, and that's also going to be a long-running series. So we can talk about that when it comes to a close. Rat Race will be this Sunday, and Summer Championships in 2 weeks. So looking forward to all of that.
Great. All right. I'm going to throw Bodicus a loop here real quick and have him read the first iTunes review we have. So I mentioned earlier that we should be getting some of these reviews from across the world. So we ended up not getting Steven Sensei, so I just threw it in here from Japan. So I'm going to actively look for that and see why that may not have happened. But Bodicus, take it away.
All right, so this review by Steven Sensei on the Japan iTunes. If you love Hearthstone, you should not hesitate to add this podcast to your rotation. The hosts have lots of knowledge to share. Their mission is to make the competitive side of Hearthstone more accessible, and they definitely do that. Not only do they discuss decks, strategy, tournaments, and other things that will give you a competitive edge, they also have an amazing community on Discord that supports one another to always become better. I listen to a lot of Hearthstone podcasts, and Concede is number 1 on my playlist.
Yeah, you could have just stopped at Concede is just number 1.
Yeah.
But yes, no, thank you, Steven Sensei. We do appreciate your review there. And we have another one. This one's from the USA. Hat. You want to read this one?
So the review is from RVA from USA. Fantastic show, is what he says. The phrase coin concede means playing the zero-cost coin card and then giving up. This is a humorous way of telling your opponent that you have no chance to win and you are bowing out gracefully. However, Coin Concede the show can go toe-to-toe with any podcast out there and isn't bowing to anybody. I look forward to the show every week as the host brings so much fresh content and insight that every show leaves me wanting more. They have great preparation and banter with the perfect mix of humor, news, and serious strategy, while leaving the salt at the door at least as much as anyone can. They will inspire you to play the game and to reach your goal. Keep up the good work, guys, and if you see me on the ladder, well, I think we all know where he's going with that.
Thank you so much. We love hearing reviews, especially good ones, but also constructive feedback. If you want to give us some too, you could write into the show if you don't want to leave it there, or at least let us know. We're open in ears. We're not going to just take only the good stuff. We'll take the bad stuff too. Just let us know what we need to work on and improve, and we'll go ahead and do that. All right, that pretty much does it for the reviews. Shall we talk about Rogue?
Oh man, I am so excited. I get to do my first explanations, and it's on this deck that I've been having a lot of success with on ladder. It's a ton of fun to play, and probably all of you are starting to get sick of it by now, but I'm real excited. We're going to be talking about the new Tempo Rogue deck that's kind of everywhere. So Tempo Rogue is the new hotness, and according to Vicious Syndicate, it is the best deck for climbing ladder currently. The strength of the deck is in all of the core cards and the ability to switch out a big chunk of the deck to be able to target whatever deck you're looking to beat. In this deck explanations, I'm going to go over a few things, kind of how to build the deck to be able to beat what you're seeing, how to be able to beat the deck, and then some common lines of play that are hopefully not obvious to everybody on the surface. So Blister Guy has recently put out an infographic that's great. It really shows all of the differences over the lists, but I can kind of go over the general consensus of the cards and kind of the reason for their inclusions. So the core of the deck, you have your early game cards so that you can kind of stay ahead on board, or at least stay at parity on board. You have your backstabs, your swashbucklers, patches, SI7 agents, and South Sea deckhand. And then it has these power cards like Keliseth, Vilespine, Edwin, and Bone Mare that give you the ability to finish off the game. And then you have a couple of the other cards that are very common, like Shadow Step, Shaku. These are your cards that kind of help you refill your hand, make sure that you continually have stuff to do on all of your turns. And then once you get past those cards, you start getting into the different tech cards you can do. They're kind of different packages that you can use in the deck. So the one I'm seeing really common lately is this elemental package that plays blaze callers and a couple more extra elementals like tar creepers and stuff. This I haven't been a super big fan of this package just because the blaze callers add these extra 7 drops to the deck, and the your hand can get kind of clunky towards the middle of the game where you're having these bone mares and blaze callers in your hand. But it does give you a lot of late game power, and the Fire Plume Phoenix helps out a lot with the early game because you don't require the combo of the SI7 agent. So it's kind of a good all-around package to have in the deck, but I haven't really been running it lately. I've played with it a little bit, but overall, I'm more towards the some of these other packages you can run. So what's been popping up a lot lately is the Scalebane package. which, well, it's not really a package, it's just a couple of cards. It's kind of my go-to 5-drop right now. You also, the other options would be like Shadowcasters or Bittertide Hydras. But Scalebane's really good because if you're looking to target Priest, or just kind of in general, it's kind of my go-to right now. And then the package that I've been running that I like the most is kind of the Leroy Jenkins Cold Blood package. I really like that one if you're trying to target the more controlling decks because it gives you this late game burst. It's really good against the Priest decks and the and like Mage and even Druid because it's just a whole bunch of damage that that they're not really seeing coming. And then I've seen some lists that are running Bittertide lately, and that card is great because it doesn't require you to actually keep any cards on board. It's you don't need any synergy synergy cards to go with it. But the biggest problem is the way I like to play the deck is you're daggering a lot, so you're taking a lot of life loss already just by trying to keep their board clear with your face. So if you're running the Bittertide, I think it's probably correct to run the forecasting cost Prince, or like I've seen lists with Defendo Vargas, which I like because you can get some extra damage in, stuff like that. And then the last kind of inclusions I see are like the older lists are running Sherazin. It's definitely good against the controlling decks, but if you're playing Sherazin, you also probably need to run cards like Shadowcaster just to make sure you have enough cards to be able to consistently bring it back. So that's kind of the overview of all of the different kind of options you have with the deck. There's obviously some other cards that I didn't go over there, but you can kind of mix those in.
Can I ask a quick question? Why are you saying
Yeah.
Scalebane's anti-priest? Like,
mainly because Dragonfire Potion and the other thing about Scalebane, which is good, which is why it's a little better than Shadowcaster in the 5-drop slot, is that it doesn't matter what creature you have on board, whereas the Shadowcaster really wants one of your higher value things to be on board, and also people are starting to realize, or people were starting to realize, that they just can't let you have any cards on board going into turn 5, because if you get to Shadowcaster like a Vilespine Slayer or any of your high value cards, then that's kind of a losing proposition. Whereas sometimes they'll let you have like a Firefly on board, and then when you get to play your Scalebane and buff like a Firefly, it makes two really potent threats all of a sudden.
But you know what? I wanted to toss in a question there as well. Like, what is the best uses of Shadowcaster? Because I know that's kind of a flexible choice, but some people seem to prefer it. Like, what's your ideal minions to bounce back into hand?
So Vilespine is the number one to Shadowcaster, but really the deck is filled with great Shadowcaster targets. The problem is usually having enough mana to be able to Shadowcaster something. So like when I was climbing with it, I was playing double Shadowcaster, and I would Shadowcaster everything from like extra Edwins, which were pretty sick, extra Vilespines, obviously. Sometimes you get lucky and you get like you can get a 1 mana cost. Bone Mare is pretty gross. I used to run Sherazin. That's also there's just a lot of really good targets. The problem is that recently people are not letting you go into those turns and have those high value targets because they know better.
Gotcha.
And I've been missing standard ladder. I didn't know how how much it's been going across here.
Yeah, and one of the big reasons why this deck does so well is just because you have all of these options, and when you're trying to play against the deck, you don't really know exactly how they've approached the metagame, and they could be having Bitter Tides in their deck, which means you have to play differently than if they have Scalebanes, or a lot of lists don't have the Leroy combo in, but so you don't have to worry about that huge burst of damage towards the end of the game. Yeah, it's just a really flexible deck, and it's really enjoyable for me to play. There's a lot of flexibility on your turns. There's a lot of decisions you can make. So how do you beat this deck? Well, we're already seeing the rise of Zoolock is really big, and Hunter had a pretty big rise kind of after it first started coming in, and it's really because this version of the Rogue deck has a really hard time with wide boards. If they get at all far behind, they're almost never going to be able to catch up. The Shaman is also really good. It's just once a board gets to a certain point, you just don't have like the Fan of Knives or kind of ways to catch back up, with the exception of if they have backstabs and stuff like that. The other thing, kind of like I was saying, the deck usually relies on a lot of synergy cards. So you have your Scalebanes, and you need triggers for the Vile Spines, and you. So if you can keep their board clear, generally after going into like turn 5 is really important. You can kind of let them develop before then, and it's not a huge deal, but going into turn 5 is when you need to make sure, and especially turn 7, everybody kind of knows going into turn 7 that Bone Mare is the card you have to watch out for. Galaka Crawler can be really good against this deck, but the higher end Rogue players are going to know a little bit better kind of how to play around so that they're not getting Galaka'd where in a position that's going to put them super far behind. And then I can go over some of the little niche aspects of the deck. The cards you're looking to keep in this deck are generally all of the 1-drop creatures are usually good, with the exception obviously of Patches. Backstab is super important. Edwin, when you're on the coin against against a controlling deck, is usually pretty powerful. Or if you're on coin and have backstab, then I pretty much always keep it, even against potentially aggressive deck. SI is really good against the aggressive decks when you're on the coin, but when you don't have the coin, you generally need to mulligan for the more aggressive cards. And a lot of people have recently been saying that they hard mull for Keleseth. I actually forgot that I had Keleseth in the deck when I first started playing the deck because I just never saw it. And I was still winning these games, and it really doesn't need it. But it does obviously increase the power level of the deck considerably. And then just a small thing, and this is just a Rogue thing in general. I haven't really seen this much, but pretty much you'd never ever want to coin Dagger, even if like you're against Hunter and they go for the turn 1 make 2 1/1s, the Alley Cat. The coin is just so useful in Rogue that holding it for as long as possible is generally going to benefit you, just for activating your combo and all that kind of stuff.
I saw my son. I was watching him play on the iPad in the other room as I was doing stuff on the computer, and I saw him coin Dagger. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go stop that right here, right now.
That's just good parenting.
It's so tempting. It's so tempting sometimes because you're worried about falling behind. But the coin is so useful for so many things that even if you don't have an immediate thing that you want to use it on, just saving it is generally going to be good. So some of the other things against specific matchups that I wrote down against Hunter, I found that I just don't keep any pirates in my opening hand. usually you want to keep like Swashbuckler in your opener. I'd always mulligan that away, just because if you get Galaka'd on turn 1 or 2, then you just fall way far behind too easily. But a lot of things you can do is like keep a South Sea deckhand, but only play it when you're going to play it and trade instantly with one of their guys, because you can actually kind of keep up with Hunter pretty well in the early game, as long as you're just trading your pirates away right away. And then going into about turn 5, when they want to start playing their cards like Bitter Tide Hydra and High Main, then you can actually start playing out your pirates, because then they have a much more tough decision whether they're going to play their high value creature or they're going to Galaka one of your pirates. And usually you're stabilized enough then that even if they Galaka you that turn, you'll be fine. Against Mage, big thing is saving charge minions. My lists are playing a Spellbreaker, and obviously, Spellbreakering your own thing to get an extra damage when they're not expecting it is good. Jade Druid, one thing that Hat learned is that if you have the option to like Vile Spine or to Spellbreaker a Doomsayer, Spellbreakering a Doomsayer actually helps you out a ton when it comes to their Spreading Plague turn, because they have a really hard time getting rid of their own Doomsayer so that they can get the extra minion out, and having them have one less Spreading Plague minion is really important. Let's see, and then the last things I have noted on here, always be counting. This is a deck that is generally going to kill your opponent pretty close to exactly. Obviously, some games you're going to run away with it, but every point of damage matters. A lot of thing, like even as minor as knowing when to dagger, when to hit with your dagger is super important. Usually the way I kind of think about it is if there's a chance that you're going to re-dagger the next turn, then I will almost always hit with it if it has 2 charges. And then if it has 1 charge, then you really have to think if you're going to be re-daggering multiple turns in a row, or if there's a chance you don't re-dagger. But just knowing how much damage you're going to do. For the most part, you have Leroy, Shadow Step, Cold Blood as 9 mana, 16 damage. You can kind of kill people out of nowhere. And then this deck's really important to be thinking 2 to 3 turns ahead, just to knowing what you need to be setting up. You really have to have a good idea what's in your opponent's deck, and know how best to build your board to be really annoying against whatever your opponent might have.
Cool. I have a mulligan question.
Okay.
So if, let's say, I know backstab is super important, but let's say you're on the play and your offering is like backstab and 2 5-drops. Would you keep the backstab, or would you mulligan that away to try and get an early drop?
I almost always keep backstab. It's just it's one of those things where, like, especially when you're not on the coin, you don't have the coin to be able to make up for having these combo pieces, and so it comes in handy in almost every matchup, even against Priest, just because a lot of times Priest will have a couple of their early minions and they have 3 toughness, and being able to have the backstab to be able to like backstab plus dagger hit or whatever, just so they can't start using their hero power to kind of match you on board is pretty important.
Cool.
Like the deck, you don't have to have a 1-drop in this deck. Like you're not expecting to go turn 1, play a Firefly or a Swashbuckler every game. Like you have a lot of late game power, and that was the other thing is against like Druid and Priest especially. If you're playing Cold Blood, a lot of times just knowing that you can like play a Firefly on turn 1 and then turn 2 play a Firefly in Cold Blood your other one to get in for 5 damage early. It is generally a strong play. Don't be afraid to like save your Cold Blood for a killing blow. Just, make the turns really awkward for them, and I think you'll have a good amount of success.
Sweet.
Cold
Did
Blood.
you want to
I
add
think.
anything?
Well, so I love Rogue. Rogue is great. Cold Blood is one of the hardest cards to play in Hearthstone because the urge of human beings is to save it for when they die. And if you hit them for 4 extra damage with the Leroy, or you hit them for 4 extra damage on turn 2, it's still 1 mana deal 4. So you want to put it in a situation where you're going to deal 4 damage that is either more relevant to generate you more damage if you clear a Tar Creeper with the patches, and then you hit them for 5 or 6 or whatever with what's on your board, or if you play it on turn 2. I have gone turn 1 Firefly, turn 2 Flame Elemental Cold Blood against a lot of decks. You have to know when it's good, right? And that's the thing about Rogue. Doesn't matter what archetype of Rogue it is, Rogue plays the opponent's deck more than it plays its own deck. In a lot of ways. You have to know, hey, Warlock only has damage-based removal before turn 6. So go ahead and make a big minion and hit him with it because they can't deal with it. Okay, Shaman's going to build a wide board. If I let them get there, they're going to kill me with the Bloodlust, and they're eventually going to get the board no matter what I do because their deck is better at this than my deck. So let's kill them now. Let's make sure we prioritize face damage after we trade away things that will ruin us with Flame Tongue. You have to know these things. Bodicus has detailed a lot of very specific interactions. But to be successful with Rogue, you have to know the rules, and then you have to break them somewhat frequently. Because the deck is all about counterplay, it's all about adapting to fluid game plans, it's all about doing more than you're supposed to do in a given turn, but you don't know when that turn is until you play the game. Until you know, okay, I'll save the coin for SI on turn 4, so I can also play a 2-drop with it. You don't know, okay, my Edwin needs to be a 4-4 against Priest because I make it a 6-6. They always mulligan for death, they kill it, and I lose the game. It's these little things that you have to be able to adapt based on what you're seeing, and that's why Rogue is my favorite thing, because it's a puzzle where the pieces keep changing shape. But it also can be frustrating to play. At times it feels like the deck is underpowered. In reality, it just requires an immense amount of discipline, because the deck is very difficult to play optimally, and a wasted trade here or a missed 4 points of damage there will cost you games. I lost a game that Bodicus was coaching me on this deck. And I lost a game, like he said, because I killed a Doomsayer instead of silencing it. So Spreading Plague got my opponent an extra 1/5, cost me an extra turn, an extra 5 damage that I didn't get to throw at his face, and my opponent won the game after UIing on 5 life. So you can see these things happen, and you can see yourself lose, and it's very easy to justify it as being unlucky. The reality is the deck has a very high play ceiling, and Rogue as a class is intimidating, because it almost requires knowledge of your opponent's deck. So be aware if you're playing it. Some games it will feel clunky. Some games you will not have a 1-drop or a 2-drop, and turn 2 will be dagger pass, and turn 3 will be hit and re-dagger. It happens, but you can still win those games, and the unconventional feeling of the deck, there's no Tunnel Trog and a Totem Golem here. There's no N'Zoth's First Mate into Bloodsail Raider, into Bloodsail Cultist here. The nut draws are rare, and they all involve Prince Keleseth, the Coin, and Shadow Step. But beyond that, you're playing a deck that has a bunch of really powerful pieces that don't always fit together the same way. As long as you adapt to what your opponent wants to do and you keep them from doing that well, you will be fine. But you have to be aware of what they're trying to do.
The amount of times I've cold-blooded for just +2 attack so that my minion can trade off with their minion so you don't fall behind on board is numerous. Probably almost as many times as I've used it to get in an extra 4 damage to their face.
Yeah, I mean, it's 1 mana, trade my minion for your minion, if your minion is way better than mine, is worth it. It might feel suboptimal because you're not getting the combo and you're not killing them, but which is more suboptimal? Not getting 4 damage on Cold Blood or not winning the game? If that's your choice, 1 mana 2 attack is fine.
Yeah, and one thing I've actually, because you mentioned, the Deathing and Edwin, I actually think that if you have something like a like the dragon in hand, if you have a Scalebane in hand, sometimes it's actually correct to make a slightly bigger Edwin with the hopes that they death it so that your Scalebane starts doing a lot of work, because they don't have a lot of other ways to deal with the Scalebane, since Dragonfire doesn't hit it.
Yeah, and that's the kind of mental gymnastics you have to do. Okay, I want my Edwin to be a 4/4 unless I have another threat that I don't want them to death, so I want them to death the Edwin, so I'm going to make it big faster. Like, this kind of adaptation based on what your opponent is doing is the hallmark of Rogue, of adapting what you're doing to fit what your opponent doesn't want you to do, because you're kind of a little good at everything, and you can be extremely good at one thing per game. You just have to decide which thing you want to be good at. Do you want to be the tempo deck? Do you want to go all in one threat? Do you want to be the slower value-based deck? Do you want to do the incremental grind? What do you want to do? And figuring out what works for you makes a lot of sense. You know, in something like Cobalt Scalebane, the card is really good against Priest, except when it's not. If it baits a death, you get one threat out of it, right? They death it, and the other thing that it buffed is fine. But if you play it into a Shadow Reaper Anduin, the card is actually a huge liability, because you buff something else, and then both things die to Anduin. So you have to kind of navigate this narrow landscape of, well, I want every card in my deck in the Priest matchup to be positive value, good tempo, but not too good, because if you overextend, they clear, and if you underextend, they out-heal you. It has to be somewhere right in the middle, and everything you do with this deck has to be somewhere right in the middle of what my opponent could do and what my opponent will do. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good way of putting it. We're gonna add. I'm gonna have Bodicus include a link to his deck, and I'll add that to the show notes too.
Will do.
All right, Cinder. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
No, man, they're the masters at Rogue. I'm more than happy to let them take the reins on this one.
All right, love Rogue. I'm really wanting to play more Rogue now. I think it's the next closest one to getting gold in it for me anyway. So, all right, shall we cover? We were talking about wanting to do emails, so shall we cover the one that's here? Kind of was answered this episode. All right, so we have well, do you want to play the bumper? Do you have a bumper?
Yeah, we can do email. Here we go.
All right, here we go.
We're gonna rock the foundations of the world, baby!
All right, so this week is Woodford 42. Who did? Well, no, you made it very hard for me to read.
Make it a readable color again.
There we go. Okay.
Make the notes great again.
What do you all think about a guild feature similar to WoW for Hearthstone? It would be nice to be able to access the Concede community directly in client, and opens up cool opportunities for guild competition and rivalries or guild quests, etc. So he was also mentioning a customizable guild card back, like guild tabards and WoW. Interesting. That would probably be an extension to what they just released as far as the app for the phones we talked about this episode.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I think it's got some ups and downs. Like I do think that community integration into the client would be fantastic. I think the app is nice, but it's still one-on-one communication. It's not really like a cohesive community application. But I think the downside is that that kind of, it may open the door for toxicity, because you might get some bad people that do bad things in your community, which I know D Lineman's in the chat. He knows all about that. I know they're going to walk a fine line on whether or not they want, because Hearthstone really has been, one of its successes has been because the not ability to talk to people unless you friend them, which still leads to plenty of toxicity, which, by the way, Hearthstone needs a report feature in the client. Blizzard, please get on that. I'll put that on your to-do list. You need to be able to report people who salt at you and say terrible things to you. But I mean, overall, I do like it. I love Woodford's idea here of a guild card back. That is amazing. Mm-hmm. I would design it and I would sport it. I would probably only ever use that card back ever. If we had cool. Like our own Concede card back, that would be the coolest thing. I would love that.
There'd be so many cards in game then. I don't know if that'd be doable for them.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they kind of did it for the Tavern Hero thing, or the not Tavern Hero, but the
October.
not that the like if with the new Fireside Tavern thing. Like each tavern actually has its own little like in-game icon that you custom design.
True.
So the functionality is there. I don't know if they want to unlock that for card backs. I don't know. I think it's a great idea. I'd love to see it.
All right, Hat, did you have any questions you wanted to add? I think all the other ones were old and we kind of just got rid of a bunch because things have changed.
Yes. Yeah, we were falling a little bit behind on questions, so some of the questions that we were dealing with included, what do you think Blizzard will do about the Druid situation?
Yeah.
So, and how will people adjust to a new meta? That seems to be frustrating at first. Turns out the two of those were related, by the way, and we hadn't answered them since a while. So,
Yeah.
I think we have the answer to those questions without responding to them. So yeah, we'll get back to try and get in the flow of answering questions more regularly. But the last 5 weeks or so in this podcast and in Blizzard in general have been kind of a whirlwind.
All right. Bonicus, do you have any questions?
Not at this time.
All right.
Senator, I'd like to plead the fifth.
All righty. So now it's time for the talk about the giveaway, this big super secret surprise giveaway. So last episode, I fumbled around and it was hard for Cinder to kind of edit, and I don't know if I mentioned it. I don't know if I didn't. I was just fumbling around, just trying to find all the details.
I will admit, I did actually cut.
Okay,
what these tickets are for.
I don't remember if I actually said it or not either.
You did. I will own that. My bad.
So I was just rambling on trying to find it. So I think that's what I was most worried about.
I cut about 4 minutes of you going, gosh, where is it? Why can't I pull it up? And
so there's a legitimate reason why it was cut. So let me go over it. So since I didn't do it justice last week, let me just say right up front, we have 5 tickets for DreamHack Denver to give away. Woohoo! Woo!
Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah. We finally got it out here. All right, so DreamHack Denver will be on October 20th through the 22nd. It is a little bit of a short notice, but hopefully if you were already planning to go, you can possibly upgrade your experience. So these tickets are going to be a 3-day bring your own computer pass, which means you get like a table and a LAN hookup for your computer or your whatever you need there to play. So what these tickets do not include would be travel, food, lodging, or anything else. It's just a table and a LAN hookup. So the rest is on you. But this is just a spot for you. If you want to be eligible for this, just send us an email at coinconcede@gmail.com and let us know you're interested. We'll go and send you a response saying, okay, yes, we've received your application, but your entry, I guess. Yeah. And again, it's for DreamHack Denver LAN. Just let us know that you're interested in the DreamHack Denver LAN for the pass. And having been to a couple of DreamHacks, I can tell you, like, just having a ticket is awesome. Like a general ticket will get you in the door, and the LAN pass is the next step up. So this ticket will get you into all sections. You can enter any tournament. Like you have access to all of like the free play areas, all of the exhibit areas, like one of the greatest things that I saw is like they had a whole virtual reality area where they were showing off VR, like, and you could just line up and play for free. There's so much cool stuff to see. And this is all of that plus your reserved place in the event hall. Like you have your own table, it's yours. They put security tags on your stuff so people don't walk away with it. And you have your own little HQ. Right there in the event hall. It's a great thing. This is about $100, I think, for these tickets, or in that neighborhood. This is a great value. Enter this tournament and go to DreamHack. You will not regret it. Yeah. So let us know. We wanted to give it a fair warning to everybody because some people actually sent an email saying, "Oh, I would like these mystery tickets that you're handing out.
Whatever they are."
I think I know of an event that's coming up that they could be for. So I'm sorry to those of you that didn't know what they were, but you're still interested. At least now you know what it is. And I was planning on just kind of blasting our Discord and Twitter, all of our social media regarding this, but it wouldn't be fair to those that actually just listen to the audio and don't follow us or have the chance to do that. So to make it fair to everybody, we're announcing it again, and we're going to extend it till next episode. So by the next episode next week, October 4th, we're going to announce the winners of those who have entered. So again, it's just send it into coinconcede@gmail.com. You will not regret it. It'll be nice. And also, credit goes to the inn on Facebook because hey, Robert was really cool about sharing it with us and allowing us to do that for you too. So, thank you so much. Speaking of thanks, I haven't done this for a while, so I'll go over it again. So let's give thanks to Stefan L for letting us use his cover. You can find his channel on our show notes. Are we thinking? No. Okay, so you can catch our blog post at not me, at coinconcede.com along with our show notes. Follow us on Twitter at coinconcede. I already mentioned our email address. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/coinconcede. Find us on Discord. We have Sage now part of the team.
We should actually make kind of a big deal about that.
Yeah.
Sir Slim, who was top 8 at DreamHack Atlanta and is one of the highest rated arena players in the North American region, or in the Americas region, excuse me. He is in our stable of coaching starting in October. If you want just general coaching or if you want arena coaching, Sir Slim is a great option. We're going to try to have him on the show real soon so you can meet him. But this is Cora's brother, so he's good people. We know him. And we are really excited to have him as part of the coaching stable at Coin Concede. So keep him in mind for your next coaching request.
Yeah, so we sent him to discord.coinconcede.com for that invite. I've seen a couple things go through our Redbubble here, shop.coinconcede.com. Do we have an announcement for what shirts?
Yeah, I am a month behind on a new design. I did not have a design for the September. As y'all know, it's been kind of a busy hurricane season, and things have been a little crazy. So I'm really looking forward to November when I don't have to worry about this anymore, and there aren't 5 hurricanes in the Gulf. So but we will be getting a new design. It's going to be there's a gag that went around that Knights of the Frozen Throne cards sound like death metal bands. So I'm going to do something related to that. It's going to be really cool.
There you go.
My Coin Concede shirt's in the mail. I'm excited.
Woo!
Oh, so it was yours, probably what you ordered that I saw. So
you made him pay?
I didn't know he was doing it. If he would have asked, he's going to try and meet us out at BlizzCon this year. So I think that's
my shirt. Do we get free shirts?
Is that I
ordered mine.
paid for my shirt. I opened the shop
shirt.
and I paid for my own shirt.
Okay, so why would we give it to? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Bodicus. Why would we give it to him if we all paid?
Why did we pay, Kenny?
I don't know. I paid. We all pay.
We all pay.
Small indie podcast.
There you go. All right. So Boddick is actually going to be joining us for BlizzCon. And by the way, Con Before the Storm, I'm going to try and get some stuff going for that. So, gosh, BlizzCon's like 5 weeks away, isn't it? I'll
be at Con Before the Storm. I didn't get tickets for actual BlizzCon, but I got the day off work, so I'll be joining you guys down for that. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I apologize for lumping. I just considered BlizzCon. But yeah, he'll be there for the Thursday night before the events, before the big stuff. I'm excited to hang out with everybody. I'm gonna get a PBR. I'm gonna get
buddy.
We're gonna have a blast. Let's give thanks to our producers. We have Viriatus, Psych Mopco, Reganus Prime, and Kylum CV.
I'd like to mention
Thank you
Kylan
guys.
twice because I think he's spectacular. And it's been kind of a running joke that we have not mentioned him until prompted, but I want to make sure he knows that he's special.
Yes. He's not special, but I mean he's special.
Well, I mean, he is one of our producers, but also he is a good person and has a voice that is excellent for radio.
Oh, man.
You didn't catch him
It's
in the
like
last
silk.
Patreon episode. Yeah. I just wanted to, like, talk to me about things.
We have our next Patreon episode coming up soon, so hopefully we'll get that out before the end. Again, we're way behind on everything because of hurricane season and just planning everything. So it's been a little hectic. We've been trying to get all our coachings in. Some of you have been really cool about rescheduling or doing things. Cinder, actually, you want to kind of, before we get into the shout outs, you want to cover a little bit of what's going on and catch everyone
a
up?
little cast news. Oh yeah, so you didn't hear Appa's voice last week. He had decided to take a break and kind of step back and
Catch up.
reevaluate things and catch up in his real life. And he's made the decision to voice on the air. It's, you know, he moved back to New Orleans. He got a job. He went back to school. He got into a relationship. Like, he had a lot happen all at once, and he decided he needed to kind of pare down and focus on important stuff. So we still love you, Appa. I know you're in the chat room, and he is still part of this family and this community. But he just decided he needed to refocus and get back to business. And we wish you the best. Oh, and he did write an open letter, by the way. It's in the show notes, so if you want to see it from his perspective, by all means, go ahead and read it. He specifically said he wanted it to be an open letter to everyone, so by all means, check that out.
He got very personal and kept. Let's put it frank. He left everything out there and you know, just put it out there. He didn't have to, but he did. So what a great guy. I hope everything goes well. He's still going to be a part of the community again. He'll be with us. He'll, you know, just like Andres is still invited for all of us, you know, after he left.
Yeah.
So same thing. He's not disappearing off the earth. It's just he's got to pay attention to him first. So
yeah. And going forward, we're probably, the fourth seed is probably going to be a kind of a rotation for a while. It's going to be Cora when we can get her, and Botticus when we can't, and we'll have special guests if we can nail them down and sit in that spot as well.
We're gonna try and shoot for 4 people automatically every week.
Yeah,
so,
right.
So something's gonna happen. We're in the talks with Cora as far as kind of solidifying a little bit more permanent. If we have to change the day during the week we record, we'll do that. But kind of full disclosure. All right. So other than our shout outs to Appa, Cinder, why don't you tell us about your shout out?
So I want to shout out Midgame for sending the entire cast and crew snacks and biscuits and stuff from Down Under, eagerly awaiting my my delicious goodies. And to my THL team, PrepCoin Concede, coincidentally named, we made a clean sweep of our opponents. All 5 of us won our matches, and it was amazing, and we are on top of the world. So good job, guys. Let's do it again this week.
Good to hear. All right, and Botticus?
I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody who specifically requested me this month for coachings. It really means a lot that you guys gave me the opportunity to coach you, and I'm really happy to see that it's helping a lot of people and they like it. And then also I wanted to do a quick shout out to Midgame as well. You know, when I was kind of just finding this podcast and hadn't really met any of you guys yet, but I was playing in the listener league, and I talked with Midgame in Discord a few times, and he was just super friendly, and I'm just really excited to see that he finally got to Legend this month. So big shout out to him.
Woohoo. What a great guy. He's so nice. I almost thought about giving him trouble. Like, you really want my address? Like, okay, what are you planning on doing?
For biscuits, man. For biscuits.
Yeah.
And
I'm
when we
excited.
say biscuits, we mean the Australian definition, which in American would be cookies.
Yeah.
And I believe the reality here is they are Tim Tams or something Tim Tammy.
Something better than Tim. He said it's better than Tim Tams.
Yeah, but I mean that's
Mm.
like saying like a unicorn that's better than being a unicorn.
It's like a unicorn with like 8 horns on its head.
Octocorn.
Octocorn. It poops rainbows.
It's yes, that's a fact.
All right, Hat. What about your shout out?
So I didn't shout out Appa yet, and I want to make sure I get to that. But first, I want to shout out Andrew and the Happy Hearthstone 100 episodes. And I'd also like to shout out Versika, Avantes, and Zeroshio over at Hero Power 100 episodes.
Also 100.
Yay!
Woohoo!
So 100 is larger than 99 and also is 3 digits, so that's significant. So props to Andrew and the Happy Hearthstone, which is literally the longest running Hearthstone podcast ever, because the first episode was before the beta came out. And props to Hero Power because they're great people. And then Appa is a special person. And
Is he an 8-horned unicorn?
Yes.
Appa-
He's an 8-horned chipmunk.
Appa
That poops rainbows.
he is large, he is elderly, and he is a sweetheart. He is a large elderly sweetheart. So,
There you
Actually,
go.
he's a baby, but you know.
yeah, well, you know what I mean. So Appa and I come from a very similar background, cut from the same cloth. The only difference is the unfortunate discrepancy in our age, because I'm old and feel older every day. But
And their height.
yeah, and yes, I think that for every year I'm older than Appa, I'm an inch shorter than him, which is I'll leave the actual number up to the viewer to calculate, but we're not going to dig into it because it's embarrassing for all parties involved. But Appa, I've been through what you've been through in a lot of ways, and at the same time, your struggle is yours and yours alone. But know that you are surrounded by a community that cares for you, that you have friends. No matter how many coachings you do or podcasts you're on, you are one of us, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you at BlizzCon. And I wish you nothing but the best in your life outside of this podcast. But know that none of us are gonna stop talking to you. That you are a friend, whether you're a podcast host or not. So anything you need, you know that we're here for you. But sometimes it's about, I said this today, it's not about what you can do for a person, but it's about who you can be for a person. And I want you to know that speaking for myself, and I'm fairly confident speaking for anyone here, that we are here for you, and we're glad that you're here for us.
Absolutely. I agree with you, and this is the reason why I call everyone else first, because they say everything so much better than I do. But I agree 100%, and I feel the same way. I want to steal everyone's shout-outs. I gave a different one only because I have already agreed with everyone else in theirs. So I'm going to shout out to Smiley Chris for rocking our Discord by answering questions while all of us were just like not there to answer questions.
Yeah. Well, like
Man.
it's that beautiful the Australian time zone. She was, at it when we were all probably getting horizontal for the night, and man, she did a great job just answering questions and being helpful.
Yeah, I love our community. I think that's the overall shout out is our community. Everybody there. Love it.
Word.
All right, let's head on out of here. So let's start with Boticus. Where can people find you?
So you can follow me on Twitter at BoticusHS. And I just did my first ever Twitch stream last week, and I'm looking to do quite a few more after the month rolls over. So you can find me there, twitch.tv/Boticus.
All right, thank you. And I'm gonna try and interject in between you guys here again. So Cora, you can find her on Twitter at songbird_HS and on Twitch at songbird_Cora. Hat, what about you?
You can find
Where can
me
people find you?
on twitter.com/ridiculoushat, where I am prolific, and I will be tweeting between 140 and 280 characters, depending on the day. You can find me on Twitch Monday nights, Thursday nights, twitch.tv/ridiculoushat. You can find me on Discord, speak my name, and I shall appear. Tag me at ridiculoushat, and I will show up when I can.
All right. And Appa, you can still follow him. He'll probably announce this too on his Twitter too, as far as his situation with Concede. And that's at Appa_HS. And I'm not sure if he's been having time to stream, but he's also on Appa HS for Twitch. Cinder.
I'm on Twitter at Cinder Ascendant, and I'm on Twitch. I am now on Twitch in 3 different places. My own channel is Cinder Ascendant, where Samsung has delivered a streaming app that captures the internal audio of the system. So Lunchstone is now super official. It's basically happening every day now. No more tinkering. It is now a thing. 50 minutes every day at lunch. I eat my sandwich. You watch me play Hearthstone. It's so far it's been a lot of fun. Drunken Monk has been a regular. Thanks, buddy. And I'm now, of course, I'm here on Coin Concede podcast. And on Friday nights, I am casting Friday Night Fights for Team Hearth League. So twitch.tv/Team Hearth League. Come check it out. Join the chat. It's on a delay, so I can't chat with you. But tell me you're watching on Twitter or whatever. I'd love to see you there.
All right. And I'm on Twitter at KCCO_gamer. That's where you can find me. That pretty much does it for this show. So I was going to say stay classy, San Diego, but keep calm and chive on. And if you see us on ladder, coin concede.
Coin concede.
Coin concede.
Coin concede.
Take cold comfort in your victory. You win. I can rest now.